Ooh, we got junk in the trunk. Back here, she goes, we got junk in the bag. I go, oh, we always got junk in the bag. Well, welcome to the 7 o'clock talk. And tonight we're going to talk a little, just, it's kind of offhand. We really didn't plan anything. So we are here at the clinic, in the back of the clinic, and we were like, what can we talk about? And first, Jess was doing IVs all day today. She has a great story. She can't name names, but there are three things that break a body down. I'm going to say them backwards: inflammation, and then you have food. Hi, Kath. And last but not least is you have stress. Yeah, she's worked hard today. And so when we look at the stress component, go ahead and tell your story about the stress monkey today.
About the blood pressure.
Yeah.
I just love her. Anyway, we have a little patient that comes in and she does really good with her blood pressure. Her blood pressure's really dropped since she's been getting her IV. She comes in and sees me every 2 weeks. So I took her blood pressure because that's what you do before. And it was high. Not as high as it has been, but higher than normal. And I said, wow, you got a lot of stress going on, or your blood pressure is awful high today. And she didn't say anything, but we like hook her up, and she loves the experience. And off to Dreamland she went with her candle and her darkness and her ambiance. And so we take the blood pressure again after she wakes from her little nap, and it dropped 40 points. So I was like, well, I'm glad I could let you enjoy some relaxation. She said, well, she had a story for me, and it obviously stressed her out.
It's deer season in Indiana.
Yeah.
Go ahead and tell the story.
Oh, so the story is that um, somebody in her life likes to watch the deer cams, and apparently they decided that instead of just watching these deers on the deer cam, they're going to go out and get one. And they got a little
Little
buck of
bug.
some sort.
Yeah.
And then they decided that instead of having somebody process it, they were
And they
going to do
haven't
that
processed
themselves.
deer before.
And then they decided that, well, not only are they just going to cut it up and freeze it, they're going to figure out how to um, smoke it and shred it and do all kinds of things with it.
So she has deer bits all over her house, and it's causing her stress. And so stress will cause issues, whether you believe it or not, and whether or not it's mental, emotional, physical, financial, romantic, whatever the
And
case
it
may
shows
be.
up in all kinds of things like blood pressure,
Oh, yeah.
pulse.
Heart rate variability. But so I teased a little functional medicine secret. And so here it is. Did you know that 80%,
Hey, Miss Tina.
80% of functional medicine is actually lifestyle? And so you don't need, and I've said this before, you don't need to come and see, a Trevor Miller, a Mark Hyman, a Dr. Berg, whoever the functional medicine doctor is. Right off the bat, you can do things like an elimination diet. And you can look those up. If you want a copy of the elimination diet, just email me at drmiller@integratedhealth.com. We would prefer you have done this, or at least be in the process of doing this before you even come in, because it's just noise that you can erase easily, and you don't need to be paying us to help you through this, but we'll gladly help guide you through it. That's not a problem. But it's that 20% that's when you have to start to dig, and that's where you have to start to dig in and figure out what is going on. And then you have to remember that you didn't get this way overnight. you're not going to get out of it overnight. It's taken me quite some time to actually get my thyroid stuff under control, and I'm going to need you to take blood work again because I haven't taken my blood work in a while. I do feel like it's better and I have it under control, so we'll have to see. But it's a process. And as in all processes, it takes time. For you ladies out there, the biggest process you guys can think about is pregnancy, is bringing life into the world. It takes forever and it's a long time while you're going through the process. But then once you get to the other side, it's like, could have been worse.
No, it was the worst.
And see, I can say that because I'll never be pregnant. I'm okay with it. And so that's where there are 4 to 5, however you want to split it out, foundational things for health and wellness, and their sleep, their nutrition. And nutrition doesn't mean you go on a super restrictive diet. We've been opening our diets way up and feeling better. We started to address our adrenals a bit more, and that's all part of the process. And so we're here to enjoy. I mean, if you're not spiritual, you don't believe in God, whatever, hey, that's your bag. It's not mine, but it's yours. The Bible tells us we are here to be good stewards of the land. So we also get to enjoy it. And you should enjoy it. Life should not be some austere monk habitat. It shouldn't be something that you suffer through. I don't think. You don't think we're not here designed to suffer.
I have no desire to suffer.
And so taking care of nutrition. And so sometimes you may have to pump the brakes on what you're doing, and you may have to figure out different ways to do what you like. But it doesn't mean that you go without, you're never going to have another potato again, or you're never going to have another drink again, or you're never going to be able to drink a soda. Some people can quit sodas, like I've quit soda.
Drink sodas. That's just gross.
You shouldn't. But, some people really, really like soda. And if you do, that's great. Just got to know that it's going to hurt your liver. It hurts all kinds of things. But you just can't do it every night. You can't even do it every week. But you save those things for special occasions. When we look at sleep, 7 to 8 hours, that's pretty standard. And you cannot be doing 7 to 8 hours of induced sleep. We can't be taking sleeping pills. We can't be taking things. I mean, a little melatonin to help wouldn't hurt, but you can't be taking Ambien? Is that what it is?
There's all kinds of things, but just because your eyes are asleep doesn't mean you're resting.
Yeah, and that's one of the things where if you read Matthew Walker's book, Why We Sleep, if you read any of the other works on sleep and what sleep is, they have a really hard time defining sleep, because if I knock you out, technically you're asleep, but you're not resting and you're not repairing. You're just out. I can hit you with a club and knock you out. That's not asleep. So there are things there to be considered. Next is movement. Way back in the past, in history, we used to work physical jobs, and we think that computers and all of this modern technology is something great, but it's actually kind of killing us in that we sit so long. There is a very big movement of sitting is the new smoking, and it kind of plays out. So if you sit and smoke, you're really screwed. But get out and move, and you don't necessarily have to go to a gym. Just walk 30 minutes a day at a brisk pace. If you're getting older, you probably do want to hit a gym, because that helps maintain muscle mass. Let's see, nutrition, exercise or movement, sleep. And last is community and or stress. So, you don't want your community to be causing you stress, and vice versa. You don't want your stress to cause your community. Well, sorry. Um, with that being said, you don't want to be in a stressful environment, and you don't want the people around you to cause you stress, because that breaks you down, and that really starts to chip away at the foundation. So that is actually 80% of functional medicine. And if that doesn't take care of your symptoms and illnesses, then that's where you start to see me, or have started to see me, and we start to dig through things. And the analogy is peel back layers of the onion. And so right now we are doing a special, and we call it our gift of health. And the gift of health special, because we have more to offer, we're starting off with the IVs. So explain the IVs to them.
Like what my special is?
Yeah, what's your special?
So if you are interested in a micronutritional IV therapy, this month, because we're so thankful for all of our patients that have come to see us over the last year, and we've had just a lot of fun and learned a lot, and we've grown that quite a bit. You'll get your IV plus a acupuncture session for $239.
And that would regularly be what?
$219 plus $85. And I don't know to do the math right now, so.
About $300. So.
And you'll get an hour with me.
Uh-huh. We're also doing the Heidelberg test. We like the machine so much that we bought it, and we can offer a special for people. If you want to, why would you do the Heidelberg test?
So you would do the Heidelberg test if you are having problems with digestion, acid reflux, pain in your stomach before or after eating. It's another one.
Hydrochloric acid is your first line of defense. If you eat something that is bad for you, the hydrochloric acid in your stomach protects you. Why do little kids not get ill as much as older people? First things first is because their hydrochloric acid is so strong in their stomachs that it burns everything up. And their immune systems are, like a rat on acid. They're just running around and going like crazy. So the hydrochloric acid, or the Heidelberg, it's a baseline functional test of hydrochloric acid and how the hydrochloric acid is functioning in you. It's not like the baking soda test, which just tests one time. You drink the baking soda, and the baking soda does you'll burp, and they time the burp. This is a functional test, because you should see the hydrochloric acid go acidic. Then you have a challenge, and you should see straight lines up and down. When it goes basic, it should be basic for 12 to 15 minutes, and then it should drop straight back down to be acidic again. And that should be a very baseline. You do it 3 times. That should be what it does. And that tells us how your hydrochloric acid is. And so how's your first line of defense? And reading that, if it slopes down, there can be an infection in the gut. If it bobbles back and forth, you have a sphincter issue in the back, and that's actually kind of hard to take care of. They generally take care of that medically. We do have what does that test entail? You have a very small capsule.
I would not call it very small.
It's about the size
of
a
large capsule, but it's manageable.
It's probably the size of those B vitamins.
It's a pretty large. It would be the size of a large vitamin.
So
and it takes about, from start to finish, about 2 hours. unless you're really acidic, and then we're done in about 20 minutes.
Yeah.
But that takes about 2 hours, and we get the results pretty quick.
If you're pretty healthy, it takes 45 minutes. If you have a gut problem, it takes hour plus. If you're hyperacidic, then it doesn't take long. And then there's another issue there. That's typically a sign of small intestinal bacterial overgrowth, because the body is trying to keep things from getting into the stomach that shouldn't be there.
Yep. And so we're going to do that special for $99.
Normally a $725
$5
test.
value, because we'll talk to you for like 20 minutes for a consult.
Yep.
And then, but if you're interested in doing that, you need to schedule that, because there's also some things you need to do to prepare for it. It's not something you just want to walk in and we can just do it.
And so with that, to answer Susan's question, what does that entail? You swallow this capsule, the capsule goes down into the stomach, and it measures pH, and it reports back to the computer. So you're in a room, you have this little box that it's a
transmitter.
Yeah, receiver.
And
it transmits to the computer that's back there. And then we can read the pH levels in the stomach. This is actually the only machine in the Midwest. It's the only machine in Indiana. I know there's a couple on the West Coast and a couple on the East Coast, and there might be one or two in Florida or Georgia. I think there's some in Georgia, because that's where the company that makes this machine do this.
Yeah, and that capsule is tethered.
Yeah.
So you have to swallow it, and then it's tethered, and then I pull it up when you're done.
Yep. You drink some water, and she pulls it out, and up it goes. And then last but not least, because we also offer chiropractic services for patients that want to get in, we're doing a special right now where we have a gift of health letter, and it helps with the initial exam and x-rays. If you need the x-rays, call the clinic. I posted the number, and Tina can get you set up for the gift of health, so you can start to get adjusted and just feel better all the way around. With that being said, I think that's a wrap. We got to get home. She wants to make dinner for the kids. I think I'm going to explode. So I drank my fiber smoothie. Have a great evening.
See you later.
Bye.